They can say, I love you all they want, but their bodies are telling a very different story. We had a body language expert analyze their last 12 months of videos, and they pinpointed the exact moment the love died, and you can see it in Sumit's eyes. We're looking at a recent clip of them, side by side, putting on their best smiles for the camera. But if you know what to look for, the image falls apart. Freeze the frame. Now zoom in on Sumit's hand, the one that's supposed to be holding Jenny, reassuring her, connecting with her. It's barely touching her back. The fingers are stiff, the palm is cupped away from her body, as if he's afraid to make full contact. This isn't the touch of a lover, it's the touch of a stranger guiding someone through a crowd. The smile is fake. The touch is a lie. His body is screaming that he wants to run. Before we peel back another layer of this shocking deception, do me a favor. If you believe the truth is written not in words, but in the body, hit that like button right now. And if you want to become an expert at spotting these lies for yourself, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell. You won't want to miss what we uncover next. Welcome to the hidden world of nonverbal communication, the silent language that speaks louder than any declaration of love. What we're doing today is more than just reality TV analysis. We are pulling back the curtain on the human psyche itself. To understand the collapse of Sumit and Jenny's connection, you first need the tools. You need to see the world as an expert does, to read the signals that are broadcast by our subconscious minds every single second of the day. Think of this as your personal tutorial, your decoder ring for the soul. The first and most crucial sign we look for is the smile. But not just any smile. We are looking for what scientists call the Duchenne smile. Named after the 19th century French neurologist Guillaume Duchenne, this is the only true expression of happiness. It's a full-face event. A fake smile, the kind you give to a coworker in the hallway, only involves the zygomatic major muscles, which pull up the corners of your mouth. It's a mechanical action, easily controlled, easily faked. But a genuine Duchenne smile is involuntary. It involves not only the mouth, but also the orbicularis oculi muscles, the little muscles that circle your eyes. When you are truly happy, these muscles contract, causing the corners of your eyes to crinkle, to create what we call crow's feet. It's a signal sent directly from the limbic system, the emotional center of the brain. You cannot fake it on command. It is the single most reliable indicator of genuine positive emotion. When you look at Sumit now, when Jenny speaks or looks at him, watch his eyes. They are vacant. The skin around them is smooth, uninvolved. His mouth may be shaped like a smile, but his eyes are telling you it's a performance. It's a mask worn for the cameras, for the audience, for Jenny herself. The light of genuine joy has gone out. Next, we must understand the concept of closed-off postures. Our bodies are incredibly honest about our desire for connection or our need for protection. When we feel open, safe, and connected to someone, our posture reflects that. We are open, our arms are relaxed at our sides, our torso is pointed directly at the person we are engaged with. We expose our most vulnerable areas as a sign of trust. But when we feel threatened, uncomfortable, or emotionally distant, we build walls. The most common sign is, of course, crossed arms. It's a self-hug, a primitive attempt to protect our vital organs and create a physical barrier between ourselves and the source of our discomfort. But it goes so much deeper than that. Look for more subtle signs. A hand clutching a drink and holding it high against the chest. A phone held like a shield. Legs tightly crossed, not in a relaxed way, but in a tense, locked position. Even the direction of the feet can tell a story. If someone's feet are pointed towards the exit while their head is turned towards you, their body is telling you where it really wants to go. In our analysis of Sumit's recent appearances, these closed-off postures have become his default state. When he sits next to Jenny, there is almost always a barrier, whether it's his arms, a pillow, or the way he angles his entire torso away from her. He is subconsciously building a fortress to keep her out. This brings us to the crucial concept of distancing. Proxemics, the study of human use of space, tells us that the physical distance between two people is a powerful indicator of their emotional distance. Couples in love crave proximity. They close the gap. They lean into each other's space, their bodies naturally gravitating together. It's a constant subconscious dance of intimacy. When that emotional connection begins to fray, a physical chasm opens up. You'll see one partner subtly leaning away, creating a few extra inches of space. You'll see them shifting their weight to the foot that's further away. When they sit on a couch, a gap that wasn't there before will appear and grow wider over time. This is what we see with Sumit. The lean away has become his signature move. Jenny will lean in to share a private word or a laugh, and you can see him recoil, not in a dramatic way, but with a slight, almost imperceptible tilt of his head and shoulders in the opposite direction. He is rejecting her bid for intimacy with his entire physical being. He is pushing her away without saying a word, creating a buffer zone where love used to be. Finally, and perhaps most damningly, is the lack of mirroring. Mirroring, or isopraxism, is one of the most powerful and primitive signs of rapport. When we feel connected to someone, when we are truly engaged and on the same wavelength, we subconsciously mimic their body language. If they cross their legs, we cross our legs. If they touch their face, we touch our face. If they lean forward, we lean forward. This isn't a conscious choice, it's our limbic brain saying, I am with you, I understand you, we are one. It's the foundation of empathy, a visual representation of two minds in sync. In the early days, Sumit and Jenny were a masterclass in mirroring. They were a dance of synchronized movements. But now, the dance is over. We watched hours of recent footage where Jenny will adopt a certain posture, and Sumit will consciously or subconsciously adopt the complete opposite. She leans in, he leans back. She opens her posture, he crosses his arms. She smiles. His face remains a stoic mask. This isn't just a lack of connection, it's an active anti-mirroring. It's his subconscious mind screaming, "We are not the same, I am not with you." It is the clearest nonverbal sign that the fundamental rapport that holds a relationship together has completely disintegrated. With these tools in hand, the Duchenne smile, closed-off postures, distancing, and mirroring, you are now equipped to see the truth. You are ready to join us on this forensic journey through the last year of their lives, to witness the timeline of decay and pinpoint the exact moment the love was lost forever. Let's rewind the clock. 1 year ago, the relationship, at least on the surface, was in its golden era. They had overcome immense family pressure, cultural divides, and a decade of uncertainty. They were finally married, living together, and presenting a united front to the world. And their body language at this point backed it up. We've isolated a clip from an interview they did roughly 12 months ago. Look at them on the sofa. First, notice the proximity. There is no space between them. Their thighs are touching, their shoulders are pressed together. This isn't forced for the camera. It's a natural, comfortable closeness. They are occupying the same space as a single unit. Now, watch Sumit as Jenny tells a story about a funny misunderstanding they had at the market. Her face is alive with laughter, and he turns his entire body towards her. His feet, his knees, his torso, his head, everything is oriented in her direction. He is giving her his complete and undivided attention. This is a powerful sign of respect and engagement. He isn't just hearing her, he is listening with his entire body. And then the smile. As Jenny reaches the punchline of her story, look at Sumit's face. It's a perfect, undeniable Duchenne smile. The corners of his mouth are pulled high, but more importantly, look at his eyes. The skin is crinkling at the corners. His entire eye socket seems to be smiling. This isn't for the interviewer or the audience. This is a genuine reaction of joy directed solely at her. He finds her delightful, and his face can't hide it. This is the baseline. This is what love, or at least a strong, functioning affection, looks like. There's more. Notice the mirroring. As Jenny gestures with her right hand to emphasize a point, a moment later Sumit, without even looking, uses his own right hand to scratch his chin. A few seconds later, she cocks her head to the left, and he subtly cocks his head to the left as well. This is limbic synchrony in action. Their brains are connected on a primal level, moving in a subconscious harmony that speaks volumes about their emotional rapport. He is fully present, fully engaged, and his body is screaming a clear message. I am with her, we are a team. There are no barriers, no crossed arms, no shielding with objects. His posture is open, risqué, and vulnerable. This clip is our control group, our evidence of what was. It is crucial to cement this image in your mind, the image of a connected couple, because the transformation we are about to witness is as stark as it is heartbreaking. Now, let's fast forward 6 months. The narrative they are presenting is still one of a happy couple navigating their new life. But the silent conversation their bodies are having has begun to change. The cracks are starting to appear. They are subtle, easy to miss if you're not looking for them. But to the trained eye, they are the first tremors before an earthquake. We're looking at a clip of them filming a social media video in their home. It's meant to be a light-hearted slice-of-life moment. But the foundation has shifted. The first thing you'll notice is the space. That comfortable zero-gap proximity from a year ago is gone. Now there is a distinct 6 to 8-inch gap between them on the couch. It's not a massive distance, but it's significant. It's the beginning of the emotional moat he is digging between them. He has shifted from the intimate zone to the personal zone, a space you reserve for friends, not your spouse. Next, observe the mirroring, or rather the glaring lack of it. Jenny, trying to drive the energy of the video, is animated. She leans forward, gestures with her hands, and looks directly at Sumit, seeking engagement. But look at his response. He remains static. He is a stone wall. He doesn't lean in with her. He doesn't match her energy level. He doesn't reciprocate her gestures. The sync is broken. The dance is over. They are no longer moving in harmony. She is performing, and he is observing, a passive participant in his own relationship. And here's the first major red flag. Look at his posture. His torso is no longer angled towards her. It's angled slightly away, towards the television or the window, anywhere but her. While his head is turned to face her, his body is already checking out. This is called ventral denial. Ventral means the front of the body, where our vulnerable organs are. By turning his ventral side away from her, he is subconsciously saying, "I do not trust you with my vulnerable side. I am shielding myself from you." It is the first clear sign of emotional distancing. He is still playing the part, still saying the lines, but his body is telling the truth. The connection is weakening, the walls are going up, and the emotional escape plan is being drafted. This isn't a conscious, malicious act. It's a subconscious leak of his true feelings. The resentment, the pressure, the potential regret, it's all starting to manifest in these subtle shifts away from the woman he's supposed to love. This 6-month mark is the turning point. The affection is becoming an act, and the performance is beginning to drain him. And that brings us to the moment, the kill shot, the point of no return. We've had our team analyze this specific clip frame by frame. We believe this is the precise moment that the internal resentment boiled over and became stronger than the dwindling love. It happened in a flash, a micro-expression so fast, it's almost invisible to the naked eye. But once you see it, you can never unsee it. The context is important. This video was filmed shortly after a period of known tension, a widely reported argument, or perhaps a difficult visit from his disapproving parents. They are doing a Q&A session, trying to project an image of stability and happiness to their followers. Jenny is in the middle of telling a long, rambling, but harmless story. It's a story he has likely heard a dozen times before. She is animated, smiling, completely oblivious to the emotional storm brewing beside her. Now focus on Sumit's face. He is trying to hold a neutral, pleasant expression. He is trying to be a supportive husband, but the mask slips. For exactly 1/15 of a second, as Jenny says a particular phrase, his entire demeanor curdles. Watch the left corner of his mouth. It pulls up and back towards his ear in a unilateral sneer. It is not a smile. It is the universal, cross-cultural micro-expression for contempt. Let's be clear about what contempt is. It's not just anger or frustration. Contempt is a toxic cocktail of disgust and superiority. It is the emotion of looking down on someone, of seeing them as beneath you. Renowned psychologist Dr. John Gottman, who can predict divorce with over 90% accuracy, calls contempt the #1 predictor of a relationship's demise. He refers to it as one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse for a couple. It is sulfuric acid for love. And we see it, right here, in its purest form, leaking out of Sumit's subconscious. That sneer, that fleeting expression, is a silent, brutal confession. It says, "You are ridiculous. I don't respect you. Your story is pathetic. I am better than you." It is the moment the deep, simmering resentment from family pressure, from sacrificing his old life, from the daily reality of their age gap, finally overpowered any affection that was left. It's gone in a flash. He quickly corrects his expression back to a neutral mask. But the damage is done. The truth has been revealed. The emotional poison has shown itself. This is the moment the love died. From this point forward, everything we see is a performance. He may have stayed, he may have continued to say, "I love you," but his heart was no longer in it. That micro-expression of contempt was the gunshot we heard in the forest. The relationship was mortally wounded, and everything that follows is just watching it slowly bleed out. Now, we arrive at the present day, the roommate phase. We've analyzed their most recent cameo videos, their Instagram stories, and their public appearances. The picture is consistent and devastatingly clear. The emotional chasm that started as a hairline crack has become the Grand Canyon. There is no intimacy here, there is no spark, there is only polite, professional cooperation. They are no longer lovers, they are business partners in the brand of Sumit and Jenny. Watch them in any recent clip. Sumit's smiles are 100% fake. There is no eye involvement whatsoever. They are what body language experts call Pan Am smiles. The forced, lifeless smile flight attendants were once trained to give passengers. It's a social nicety, devoid of all genuine emotion. He delivers the smile because the situation requires it, but it doesn't reach his eyes because his heart isn't feeling it. The distancing has become a permanent fixture. He now maintains a subtle but consistent buffer of space between them at all times. Even when they pose for a photo and have to be close, watch his torso. It's almost always angled away, his shoulders turned out, his body subconsciously searching for an escape route. The only time he initiates touch is when he knows the camera is on them, and even then the touch is stiff, formal, and brief. It's a pat on the back, a hand placed gingerly on a shoulder. It is the touch of an acquaintance, not a husband. He is a master of what we call blocking. Notice how often he will hold a phone, a cup, or even just cross his arms over his chest when she is talking to him. He is constantly creating barriers, both big and small, to wall himself off from her emotionally and physically. His body language is no longer that of a partner, it is that of an employee. He is polite, he is professional. He shows up and does his job. He says the lines, he hits his marks, he smiles for the camera. But there is a profound weariness in his posture, a resignation in his eyes. He is performing the role of a loving husband, but his body is telling us the unvarnished truth. He is trapped. He is living with a roommate, not a soulmate. They are two people sharing a house, a career, and a past, but their emotional connection has been severed. What you are witnessing is not a marriage in the traditional sense, but a long, drawn-out performance for an audience that pays the bills. His body isn't lying. It's confessing his deep unhappiness with every single nonverbal cue he gives. The evidence is overwhelming. And it's all been caught on camera for the world to see. Let's delve deeper, beyond the surface-level observations, into the granular, microscopic evidence that cements this conclusion. To truly understand the tragedy of what's been lost, we must dissect the lie itself, piece by painful piece. We have to examine the specific tells that Sumit's body is broadcasting, the subconscious signals that are as clear as a written confession. Let's start with the eyes, the so-called windows to the soul. In Sumit's case, the windows are boarded up. We talk about the Duchenne smile, but the absence of it is only half the story. The real story is in what his eyes are doing the other 99% of the time. There's a profound lack of mutual gaze. When two people are in love, they seek each other's eyes constantly. It's a way of checking in, of reaffirming the connection, a silent, I see you, I am with you. In recent footage, Sumit actively avoids Jenny's gaze. She will turn to him, her eyes full of expression, and his will dart away. To the floor, to the ceiling, to a nondescript spot on the wall. He is refusing to let her in. He is denying her that fundamental point of human connection because, on a subconscious level, the connection is already gone. This isn't just a simple avoidance. We've observed a significant increase in what is known as eye blocking. This is a behavior where a person, upon hearing something they dislike or disagree with, will briefly close their eyes, as if to block out the offending sight or sound. It's an involuntary, primitive brain response that says, I wish I wasn't seeing or hearing this. Watch Sumit the next time Jenny talks about their future, their happiness, or her love for him. You will see his eyelids flutter and close for a second longer than a normal blink. It's a physical manifestation of his internal rejection of her reality. His brain is trying to delete her words from his consciousness. Furthermore, his blink rate is a huge indicator of his internal state. A normal, relaxed person blinks about 15 to 20 times per minute. Under stress, that rate can increase dramatically. We've clocked Sumit's blink rate during tense conversations, or even seemingly happy moments, and it often skyrockets to 40 or 50 blinks per minute. His body is in a constant state of low-grade anxiety when he is in performance mode with her. His eyes are not the windows to his soul, they are the flashing warning lights of a system in overload. Now let's talk about his hands. If the eyes are what we use to take in the world, the hands are what we use to interact with it, to express our feelings, to connect, and to build. A lover's hands are often intertwined, resting on a knee, stroking a back. They are a constant source of comfort and reassurance. Sumit's hands tell a story of profound discomfort and a desperate need for self-soothing. You will almost never see him initiate intimate, relaxed touch anymore. The hand-holding is gone. The casual caress is gone. Instead, his hands are almost always engaged in what we call pacifying behaviors or self-adapters. These are repetitive, self-soothing gestures that we do to calm ourselves down when we are stressed or anxious. For Sumit, the most common is neck rubbing. He will constantly stroke the back of his neck, a gesture that stimulates nerve endings and has a calming effect. It's a subconscious attempt to protect a vulnerable area and to literally cool himself down from the stress of the situation. You'll also see him rubbing his thigh, stroking his own arm, or fiddling incessantly with his fingers or a piece of clothing. These are not the gestures of a relaxed man in love. These are the telltale signs of a person in a state of high anxiety, of someone who feels trapped and is trying to comfort themselves because they are receiving no comfort from their partner or their environment. His hands are busy trying to manage his own internal chaos, leaving no room for them to reach out and genuinely connect with Jenny. When his hand is on her back, it's a prop. When his hands are on himself, that is the truth. And it's not just the visual cues. We have to consider the paralanguage, the nonverbal elements of his speech. The sound of his voice has undergone a complete transformation. A year ago, his voice was full of inflection, pitch variation, and energy, especially when talking to or about Jenny. It was dynamic and engaging. Now, listen to him. His speech pattern has become increasingly monotonous. He often speaks in a flat, unchanging tone, a sign of emotional disengagement and even depression. Life has been drained from his voice, just as the joy has been drained from his eyes. There's also a noticeable increase in vocal hesitations, the ums, ahs, and uhs that pepper his sentences. This can indicate cognitive load. It takes a lot of mental energy to maintain a lie, to constantly monitor your words to make sure you're saying the right thing instead of what you're actually feeling. His brain is working overtime to keep the performance going, and that strain is leaking out in his hesitant, disjointed speech. The man who once spoke of Jenny with passion now speaks of their life with the dull, weary tone of someone reading an instruction manual. The sound of his voice is the sound of resignation. It is the sound of unhappiness. But simply identifying these behaviors is not enough. We have to ask the crucial question, why? Why the contempt? Why the distance? Why the elaborate, exhausting performance? Our deep analysis, which includes cross-referencing their videos with known events in their lives, points to a compelling and tragic theory. We call it the financial prison. Sumit is not just in a loveless marriage. He is trapped in a business partnership that he cannot afford to leave. Their entire livelihood, their fame, their income from the show, from social media, from Cameo, is predicated on the narrative of their unlikely love story. The brand is Sumit and Jenny, the couple who conquered all. If that brand collapses, so does their financial stability. He is not just a husband, he is an employee of their shared corporation, and his primary job is to perform the role of the loving husband. Now re-examine all his body language through this lens. The forced smiles are for the customers. The stiff, polite touches are part of the required customer service. The constant anxiety and pacifying gestures are the manifestations of an employee who hates his job but is terrified of being fired or quitting. His body is screaming the truth of his burnout. We analyzed clips where they are specifically promoting a product or doing a paid Cameo video, and his stress signals are off the charts. His blink rate is at its highest, his self-soothing is at its most frantic. This is because in these moments, the reality of his situation is most acute. He is literally selling a lie for money. His body isn't just rejecting Jenny, it's rejecting the entire premise of his life. The contempt we saw was not just for her, it was a flash of self-loathing, a moment of profound resentment for the trap he has built for himself. He is a prisoner, and the bars of his cage are made of financial necessity and public expectation. He cannot leave without destroying his entire world, so he stays, and his body silently withers under the strain of this impossible, unending performance. There's another equally powerful layer to this. It's what we're calling the ghost of the family. While the financial prison explains the why now, the ghost of his family's disapproval is the original wound that never healed, the poison that slowly seeped into the foundations of their relationship. For years, the narrative was Sumit fighting for Jenny against his family. It was a classic us against the world romance, and that struggle, that shared enemy created a powerful bond. But once they were married and the main battle was won, the dynamic shifted. The external enemy was gone, and he was left to deal with the internal fallout. the permanent estrangement from his parents, the shame and disappointment he still carries, the life he gave up. He is no longer fighting for her. He is living with the consequences of his choice. And his body language tells us those consequences are a heavy, unbearable burden. We isolated every clip where his parents or family are mentioned. The transformation is immediate and chilling. The moment the topic is raised, his posture closes off like a steel trap. His arms cross, his jaw clenches, and he exhibits what we call a turtle effect, where his shoulders hunch and his head sinks down, a primitive response to a perceived threat. He creates immediate distance from Jenny, subtly leaning away as if to subconsciously signal, "This is your fault." In a recent interview, a fan asked a question about his mother. Jenny answered it cheerfully, but we focused on Sumit. He didn't say a word. He just stared into the middle distance, and for a full 5 seconds, his face was a mask of pure, unfiltered sadness. His brows furrowed, the corners of his mouth pulled down. It was a profound expression of grief. He wasn't in that room with his wife. He was somewhere else, mourning the loss of his family. The love he had for Jenny was once strong enough to justify that loss. But over time, with the daily grind of reality setting in, the justification has worn thin. The resentment for what he sacrificed has begun to fester. The ghost of his family's approval, a ghost he can never exorcise, now haunts their home. That micro-expression of contempt we identified, it was likely triggered by something Jenny said that, in his mind, highlighted the vast cultural and personal chasm between her world and the world he lost. He is not just falling out of love with her, he is being crushed by the weight of a sacrifice that he is no longer sure was worth it. Let's put all of this together and walk through a single recent interaction, a case study in this silent, heartbreaking conversation. Let's take a look at a recent Instagram Live they did from their living room. It's just 3 minutes long, but it contains a novel's worth of unspoken tragedy. It begins with Jenny starting the live stream, her face bright and full of energy. "Hi, everyone," she exclaims, leaning into the camera. Sumit is beside her, and his immediate response is to lean back, away from the phone, creating instant distance. His smile is a thin, tense line. It does not touch his eyes. This is his baseline, disengaged and distant. Jenny then says, "We're so happy to talk to you all. We love you." And she pats his knee. Watch his reaction. It's not a warm response. He gives a short, sharp nod, and his own hand, which was resting on his leg, immediately moves to rub the back of his neck. She offers a bid for connection, a touch, and words of shared affection, and his body responds with a classic pacifying gesture. His subconscious is screaming, "I am uncomfortable." She then starts reading a comment from a fan. "You two are my favorite couple. Your love is so inspiring." As she reads this, she turns to Sumit, her face beaming, seeking his validation, his shared joy. This is the critical moment. Look at his face. Before he can construct his happy husband mask, there is a flicker of something else. His eyelids close for a beat too long, the eye block. "I wish I wasn't hearing this." Then, as he forces the smile, the corner of his mouth twitches. It's a faint echo of that contemptuous sneer. He is not feeling inspiration. He is feeling the immense pressure of the lie he has to uphold. His body is leaking the truth. This is not reality. He then says, "Yes, thank you so much." But listen to the words. His voice is flat, devoid of emotion. There is no warmth, no joy. It is the polite, automated response of a call center employee. The final minute is the most damning. Jenny continues to answer questions, becoming more animated. She gestures with her hands, leans into the camera, her body is open and engaged. Sumit, in stark contrast, sinks further into the couch. He crosses his arms, creating a formidable barrier across his chest. His feet, which are off camera but we can infer from his posture, are likely pointed not towards her, but towards the nearest exit. He is in a full-body defensive crouch. He is a man under siege from his own life. The silent conversation is painfully clear. Her body says, "Aren't we wonderful? Isn't this love amazing?" And his body screams back, "I want out. I am trapped. This is a performance, and I am exhausted." The 3-minute video is a perfect microcosm of their entire relationship now. A woman desperately trying to project an image of happiness, and a man whose every nonverbal signal is a plea for help, a confession of his deep and abiding misery. So, what does the future hold? Body language is not a crystal ball, but it is an incredibly accurate barometer of the emotional climate of a relationship. And the forecast for Sumit and Jenny is stormy, with no signs of clearing. The trajectory of their nonverbal communication is one of accelerating decay. The distancing is becoming more pronounced, the fake smiles more brittle, the signs of anxiety more frequent. What this predicts is not necessarily an imminent, explosive breakup. Given our theory of the financial prison, that is unlikely. Instead, what the body language predicts is a slow, quiet fade into two separate lives lived under one roof. The roommate phase will evolve into the strangers phase. The forced public appearances will become fewer and more stilted. They will maintain the facade for as long as it is profitable, but behind closed doors, the silence and the distance will grow until it is absolute. His body is already rehearsing for a life without her. The angling away, the creation of space, the emotional walls, these are all practice runs for an eventual, or at least emotional, departure. He is not a partner in a marriage anymore. He is a man waiting for his sentence to end. The love story is over. The body has already told us. Now we are just waiting for the words to catch up. The evidence is undeniable, written not in ink, but in the tension of a shoulder, the flicker of an eye, and the space between two bodies where love used to be. The body doesn't lie, and Sumit's is telling a story of regret, resentment, and resignation. It's a tragedy played out not in grand speeches, but in a million silent, heartbreaking gestures. Go back and watch their last video and tell me if you can see the signs. Look for the fake smile, the distancing, the pacifying gestures. Do you believe body language tells the true story? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you want to learn to see the truth that others try to hide, make sure you subscribe and ring that bell for more expert breakdowns.